Right, so we're going to talk about SEO, SEM. It's a common question, and we're going to talk about the relevancy for small business as well.
Yep.
Let's start with the overviews. SEO.
SEO. What is SEO?
What is SEO?
SEO.
Keep it short.
Yeah. All right. So SEO is basically the practice of optimizing your website to rank organically on Google for your business's primary keywords. Mm-hmm. There is a lot that goes into that.
Yep.
But ultimately, when you do a Google search, as I'm sure everyone does,
yep,
you'll see that typically the first 2 or 3 placements are sponsored.
Yep.
That's Google Ads, that's mm-hmm. SEM. The ones underneath that are organic. So the goal of SEO is to make sure that your business or your website is in that first or top 3 position to get traffic to your website.
Makes sense.
Yeah. SEM.
So SEM is really interesting. It's a common question, is the SEO versus SEM. Now, SEM is search engine marketing,
mm-hmm.
which actually encompasses SEO.
Yeah.
I think the confusion of where people in general are searching for the SEO versus SEM is actually trying to understand the difference between SEO and PPC. So yes. SEM is an umbrella that incorporates SEO and PPC together. So you could ask the question more around SEO versus PPC,
yeah,
because SEO versus SEM is talking about, should I do SEO only or should I do SEO with PPC or pay-per-click marketing?
Yeah.
It's search engine marketing as a whole.
Yeah.
So I guess to talk in the opposite to where SEO is, where PPC would then fill in the blank. So as you said, you've got your ads at the top, then you've got your organic in Google search.
Mm-hmm.
The ads at the top is the pay-per-click.
Yes.
So it's very much money in, money out. It's an auction-based system. It's a bidding. You bid $1 per particular keyword or an amount of dollars per particular keyword. And in return, you put yourself in a position to instantly generate traffic.
To instantly rank as well.
Yeah. So it's a pay to play.
Yeah.
Whereas SEO is that difference of being that upfront investment for long-term and
longevity.
Long-term gains and the compounding return, whereas PPC is more of a dollar in, dollar out concept.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that it's instantly profitable. It doesn't mean that you turn PPC on and it just starts working tomorrow. There is still time and learning and data that over time performance campaigns or pay-per-click campaigns do get better.
Yeah.
But it has a different effect compared to an SEO campaign.
Yeah.
So that's,
definitely.
I suppose, the differences.
Yeah.
So one's the organic aspect, as you put. The other is that paid aspect of paying to play and being in that spot.
Yeah.
So I guess then putting it back to you, like costs involved, what does that look like for a business? So we're talking a small business. I understand that capital and money early on in business can be difficult. What sort of costs are involved with an SEO campaign?
For SEO costs, what we find is a lot of clients are quite shocked at the upfront costs for an SEO campaign.
Yeah.
It's because there is a lot of on-page stuff, elements to it, but then also a lot of the back-end work that business owners don't necessarily see.
Yeah.
I think another key difference with the SEO versus PPC is that SEO, we're looking at the whole website as a whole. So we're first looking at the technical structure of the website, making sure that we're building off an optimal base.
Yeah.
SEO typically is a bit more expensive initially for a client.
Yep.
Especially because they don't necessarily get that instant return. So what are the costs involved for SEO, to run an SEO campaign for a business?
Yeah, there's maybe a misconception of how much SEO can cost. I think this really stems from, you can see consultants, freelancers, agencies having such a disparity in the costs. You can have agencies or we'll say freelancers or agencies coming in at $300 a month. And then you have other companies that may be coming in at $3,000 a month.
Yeah.
And even $3,000 a month for a global or an international company is still considered very low. That is still a low cost campaign.
Yeah.
So understanding what's being done for your investment, I think is key when you're understanding the costs. And I think the lack of understanding of how much time it takes to invest into an SEO campaign is where potentially businesses or clients don't understand why it may cost $3,000 or why it may cost $5,000 a month.
Yeah.
You know, when you take into account, okay, you've got to write handwritten content. It's got to be phenomenal expert content that takes industry research, copywriters. It's going to take a developer to be able to implement it to page. It's going to take design to create the page to be engaging. It's got to take
technical expertise,
backlinks and link building strategies, keyword research and competitor research. And all of this is hours upon hours upon hours upon hours. That has a cost, and that could be, $100 an hour, 20, 30, 40 hours of work.
Yeah.
You quite quickly get to your $3,000 a month. So that's why it has the cost that it does.
Yeah.
My concern is when you see campaigns out there of $200 to $300 for an SEO campaign, it's like, what are they doing for that? Because we know what it takes to rank first. We've done it for us. We do it for a lot of businesses. We're absolutely killing it in results for many of our clients. Almost all of our clients are getting fantastic results. We know what it takes. I can't see how somebody can do it for $200 to $300. I would imagine that it's all automated.
Yeah.
So
it definitely takes a level of expertise, and I wish you could automate SEO. However,
that'd be nice. Sure.
Yeah, it's not just a quick, easy, get the job done and tick the box and then move on to the next task. It's this ongoing analysis and looking at competitors. Where can we add extra value? What's missing 100%. On the website? It's looking at the website as a whole, rather than just looking at one page and being like, why isn't this ranking? It could be a whole technical error at the back end of the website that's not been addressed.
Exactly.
That could be the fix. So there's a lot to it, and that's why there is a cost.
Yeah.
What about for PPC? The costs involved to run a PPC campaign. Obviously, it's different based on the industry and the competition. But how does that compare to SEO as well? Yeah,
so it's similar in terms of fees. It's obviously not necessarily as expensive depending on budget size. So generally, agencies or consultants or freelancers will leverage two different models. So they'll use a retainer concept, which is like a flat fee.
Yeah.
Or they'll use a percentage of budget. So if you're a large organization, invest in $20, $50 to $100,000 per month in your ad spend, they'll utilize like a 15% or a 10% retainer. And they'll take that out of your ad spend to manage. The alternative is the flat rate retainer costs.
Yeah.
To make this, I guess, relevant for the small business, we don't shy away from it. It can be tough. It can be tough. If you're investing $30 a day into a Google ad campaign, it's $900 a month.
Yeah.
And then you go and get a retainer on top of that, and it's ad management for $900 a month. It's like half of my money is going into ad management.
Yeah.
So is PPC the right move for a new business? Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe not. You've got to consider that you might not get that ROI straight away.
It does take time.
It does take time. So do you want to saturate all of your marketing budget into something that may not provide you a return? And then the second that you turn it off, you don't get a return.
Yeah.
Because that is the thing with PPC, right? You turn it on, you're generating a result, or you're generating something. You turn it off and then it goes.
Yeah.
Whereas if you do invest into SEO, at least that you know that investment will pay dividend down the track.
Yeah. SEO is the building blocks. The more you invest into it, you're not necessarily going to see results straight away and overnight.
Exactly.
But it's that slow for people. But it's that incremental increases month on month, week by week, year on year that you'll see return over time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we see some incredible returns for small business still quick. Some people talk about the long term, 2 years until you see anything. I think there's the statistic out there of, from the top of my head, so bear with me, it's something like the majority of pages that are on page 1 are at least 2 years old. That's a stat.
Yeah.
But then there's like a contradicting statistic for small business, which is like between like 30 to 40% of small businesses see an increase in organic traffic within the first 4 months.
Yeah.
So it can be done quickly.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's always long term. You know, we've got some campaigns in-house that we've seen that are, you know, 8-fold in 8 months.
Yeah.
Literally 8-fold in 8 months. We're looking at it yesterday. 8-fold in 8 months in terms of organic. Like, as an agency, I'd pay tens of thousands to be able to eightfold my total traffic in 8 months. Like, tens of thousands of dollars for that, because the value from an ROI standpoint to the business is astronomical.
Yeah.
So equally, you can see that same return for businesses if you're in a space that can capitalize on it. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's like, SEO is not right for every business as well. And that's why we always want to make sure that you, or not necessarily we, but anyone that you're working with, another agency or a freelancer, always make sure that you do your audit and analyze your competition and analyze your opportunity before you invest.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a key takeaway for it.
Yeah.
Small business, big business, enterprise, no matter what you are, analyze the competition, understand your baseline, understand where you're ranking at the moment and your strengths and weaknesses, and where you could capitalize on that investment.
Yeah.
In some businesses, it can be huge.
Yeah. Another thing with SEO as well is that, for example, we've had a few small businesses start with a 3-month campaign, and potentially they don't have the budget to invest for another month, so they pause their SEO campaign. Yeah. The key difference with Google Ads and SEO, I think we touched on this earlier, was with Google Ads, as soon as you turn them off, you're gone. Yeah. You're not going to show up. You're not going to get the leads. You're not going to get the traffic. Yep. Whereas SEO, even if you're in that 5th position or 3rd or 1st, you're not going to drop overnight. No. You won't really feel the effects, depending on how competitive the industry is, but you won't really feel the effects of that, the lack of investment in SEO for like 3 to 6 months. Yeah. There is that ability, sorry to jump in, but there is that ability to start tapering down your investment as you get in a stronger position. That is a thing. So that is, I guess, a benefit to that long term again. Yeah. Yeah. And what about SEO and PPC together? I think if you've got the budget as a company, there's a lot that comes into it, because you never want to do a poor job in SEO and a poor job in PPC. You're better investing, I feel, you're better investing strongly into one than poorly investing into 2. Because a good investment into SEO can be a fantastic return, and equally a good investment into PPC with the right expertise behind it can be the same. Yeah. So I'd always be cautious on investing in both, just because you can afford it, as opposed to strongly investing in one. I see a better outcome. We see a better outcome. Yeah. So somebody that backs the organic sees that return down the track. Somebody that backs their PPC campaigns equally has then that data down the track. Yeah. So if you're in a larger organization, or if you're in a small business and you're trying to be competitive, you've got good capital, you've got good income coming through, you've got the marketing budget to be, distributing, and you can, without being too much of a strain on resource equally, because it's a resource strain on business and on partnership, whoever's the partner, is to make sure that when you're doing that it's going to work out for you, I suppose. So, but if you've got the ability to do it, then sure. Yeah. It's holistic marketing is always going to be a better success. Absolutely. So yeah. And I guess just to touch on that as well is starting off with an SEO campaign and optimizing a page to rank for a particular keyword, and then potentially running a Google ad campaign to that page. Yep. You'll get a better quality score with Google Ads. Big time. Rather than just turning on a Google ad campaign onto a not the best landing page. You won't get that nice conversion. So going into an SEO campaign first, optimizing your content, optimizing your landing pages, optimizing the deliverable. Yeah. Subsequently reduces that cost in that PPC campaign if you then decide to turn it on. So yeah, there is a win doing it that way around, and going SEO prior to PPC, or even SEO prior to the full SEM campaign. Yeah, and how they can work nicely together. Definitely. All right, we'll leave it at that. Awesome. Thank you.